Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Micah Let's Play, and guess who I am? I'm Micah, peering to you from beyond the veil, because I'm trying to be dramatic. It's still not working, I know, massive cringe, deal with it. You hit the watch button, you hit play, this is on you. Just kidding, no. Guys, oh my god, if you hear noise in the background, that's my AC because it's really fucking hot. Like, holy shit. And it's just hot. There are no words, it's just warm. Okay, so guys, a few days ago, IGN had a conversation with BioWare, and they said, we want to talk about your companions, and BioWare said, okay, so that's what we're gonna watch right now. We're gonna watch the companion trailer. A friend of mine by the name of The Chronicles of Noria, right here on screen, highly recommend that I did look at this. Now, the only thing I do know about this trailer is that we get a glimpse of them hair physics that BioWare has prided themselves on. And that's the only thing I saw was long hair, beautiful Canary. That's all I can tell you. And on Twitter, I had posted Willow's, I whipped my hair back and forth because I saw a glimpse of this trailer. So we're going to watch the whole thing. We're going to gush. We're going to awe. We're going to say ooh la la. And yeah, I feel good about my life choices. I hope you feel good about your life choices. Because remember, you push play. Just kidding. And with that said, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this started. I'm just really excited to see more Dragon Age goodness. So let's go. Ooh, oh.
Not looking good, old friend.
Oh. IGN First. What is?
What are you thinking?
Oh, Dragon Age and Veilguard, get into your
So, of course, relationships are a big part of the Dragon Age IP.
Hi, Karen. And, or Corinne.
That takes several different forms. Both the romantic, of course, we're all here for that.
Yes.
But also the platonic. And really these relationships you develop in the Veilguard, this is about a found family.
I so love that.
They have the same goals, different complications in their life, but they're all giving everything they have to defend Thetis. You're going to get to know them really well. You're going to develop trust, understanding. That doesn't mean you're always going to agree. So I like to think of relationship not necessarily as how much they like you, but how well you know them.
And how trust.
With any family, you can know them quite well. You can trust them a lot. You can like them, or maybe you don't.
That part.
Every family has their squabbles.
Right.
But this is really about developing your understanding of each member of the Veilguard, and in turn, that's going to allow them to work better as a team. Your relationship with companions really affects both how their arc unfolds and your relationship with them, but how the companions exist on the battlefield, what their behaviors are. Building a relationship with companions has always been a staple of Dragon Age, but this time around, that relationship translates into how well you work together as a team. It is how you're actually going to level up your companions, by getting to know them better. That's how you're going to unlock skill points.
I like that.
When you look at all of the various abilities the companions have, there's inherent combos and synergies and roles that they'll have on the battlefield. Nev, for instance, has the ability to slow time or heal you right out of the gate. But if I really get the opportunity to know her, whether it's platonic or romantic, I'm going to help be able to shape her skills and augment those abilities that work really well with my own personal build.
That makes sense.
So our sense of teamwork really deepens.
We need someone to be our eyes and ears in the shadows.
Nev is your girl.
Well, Nev is our confident noir detective. I love to bring her onto the battlefield because she's just so incredibly capable.
And that's
She's
the thing that's really cool about
ice
her.
mage, so really big on controlling the battlefield. And that's actually a good metaphor to her arc. She wants to fight for change. She wants to fight for a better Minrathous, and she's going to use all the tools at her disposal to try and reshape Minrathous into a better place for all. She's very much a shadow dragon. This is among the mantra of the Shadow Dragons. They operate from the shadows, fighting for a better Minrathous.
I just want
this
to personally
accomplished
say,
ice mage,
I'm so
fierce.
happy she's not
fierce.
blonde.
She's not going to shy away from
like
any
this.
challenge. whether it's taking down Darkspawn or dealing with the Magisterium in Minrathous.
Yes.
Someone to bring a little darkness.
It's the Short King himself.
The character that went through the most changes, without a doubt, was Lucanus. Lucanus is very complex.
Okay.
He's an assassin. He's very skilled in the art of death. The Antivan Crows, they pursue these contracts with a certain level of dispassion. But also Lucanus is a romantic, and he's dealing with some internal struggles. He's been through a lot of trauma.
Okay.
He's relearning how to
So he's
trust.
a broken emo boy.
And all of those elements come together with a richness, but it creates
this
a lot
is
of
new.
complexity in
Okay.
how we tell that story. So I'd say Lucanus is the first one that comes to my mind in terms of the thought that's gone into it, where we've had to make adjustments to really cover all facets of his character.
He sounds very fascinating. Here she goes.
Into the fade, aren't we?
Valara.
Our sus companion.
My dear sweet Valara. I relate to Valara a lot. She is
warrior!
She's been through a lot, but
I
she
like that
remains
so two-handed.
curious,
Okay.
optimistic. She's kind of a geek. She really likes her
she's
her
our people
fiction.
Okay.
She fangirls over Nev a little bit.
You
She's
see
just so
Harding's face?
relatable. And I think that's what our players will find and fall in love
Jihal.
with when they get to meet Valara, is just how much
Look at Rook.
you'll recognize some of those patterns and sensibilities that she holds. But don't let it fool you.
Valara's so beautiful.
She is also a
for
Veil
fuck's
Jumper.
sake.
She is very comfortable in Elven Ruins.
Right.
I frequently bring her with me in my party. My favorite spec. I like to play a rogue. I like to play the Veil Jumper or the Veil Ranger.
Yeah.
Valara's a fantastic companion to set up that spec with electric vulnerabilities.
That's so cool.
I love her both on and off the battlefield.
And
That makes
digging up
sense.
a lot of buried secrets.
Bone Daddy. We got so little on
The
him.
thing about Emmerich that is going to surprise our fans the most is his relationship with necromancy. I really love that we kind of turned the idea of a necromancer on its head here, where you think of them as these conjurers of evil, the certain malice when you hear the term necromancer. But it couldn't be farther from the truth for Emmerich. There is a reverence about the dead. He has a unique relationship with death. You get to explore how he ended up in the Morn Watch. Death has shaped this character in all aspects of his life. We frequently refer to him as our gentleman necromancer. I think his proper, kind nature stems from that respect that he's learned about this cycle of life and death.
I could
throughout
relate
his
to
life.
Emmerich. Okay.
Phenomenal character.
Right.
In my last playthrough, I don't mind sharing, I romanced Emmerich.
Love it.
What I also love is as I'm synergizing with him as we're doing combos, just having him refer to me as my dear on the battlefield. Well done, my dear. It just fills me with joy every time.
Oh, that's so cute.
These murals aren't simply memories. They're what Solas wishes to forget.
So Manfred is like a son to Emmerich. He very much has an affinity for this wisp, this life force that he's given a second chance through this skeletal body. And in many ways, it's the story of a parent raising a child. He needs to teach Manfred and help him along to develop as a character of their own. Things like learning new skills, how to assist the Veilguard. Some of our most charming moments are in dealing with Manfred. I must say, I absolutely love the interactions. They just have me rolling whenever
that makes me so happy.
Manfred steals the show.
What about Darkspawn?
My beloved, my favorite.
Someone who will stand between us
Let's go.
and a pack of demons.
Yeah, the fuck you can.
When we were thinking about Davrin, how we were going to develop him as a character, we had to think about how is he going to show up on the battlefield.
So fucking
And it was unique because he has this, I guess you could say, companion of his own, the Griffin Asan. That makes him as a companion very unique. Because Asan shows up on the battlefield.
Right.
So we had to think about how that integrates into his abilities, where Davrin, as a Grey Warden, is capable on his own, but also when does he call upon Asan, and what does that look like? What happens if you're indoors?
I like that.
There's a lot of considerations there, but I'm really proud of how Asan shows up in the game alongside Davrin. And indeed, when you're doing some of Davrin's
she has, like,
content,
this energy around her.
Just seeing Asan gliding through the environment.
Right.
You really get a sense that they care and they're protective about each other, but the work the team did to realize that was an incredible challenge. So kudos to the animation, the gameplay team. They did a wonderful job integrating that. So when we think about Davrin and his being the representative of the Grey Wardens within the team of the Veilguard, it was an opportunity for us to really go back to some of those roots that we know our fans, our players deeply care about. Right. Dragon Age Origins, of course, was so Grey Warden forward. We want to evoke those memories, those connections that our players have.
Oh, I like it.
And I absolutely love when you're journeying with Davrin, not only his aesthetic, how he carries himself as a warden, but how he interacts with his fellow wardens. The little wrinkle of, hey, there actually are some griffins remaining in Thedas. How he learns as a warden to train and interact with these griffins that, to our knowledge, haven't existed for quite some time. It's a learning experience on a lost art of the Grey Wardens that is really unique to Davrin's character.
And that's part of the thing that makes him so cool. Tosh, I want to know more about this character. They're so interesting.
So Tosh, in the creation of their arc, is one of our more complex characters.
Okay.
It's a journey along their arc that is about introspection. Where do I belong in the world? What are my boundaries? What do I fight for?
Oh, Tosh,
how do I
so
become at peace with who I am?
Right.
So I love the juxtaposition, actually, between Tosh's personal journey and this imposing literal dragon slayer.
Right. That hammer
sort of
thing.
Hard exterior and really gentle interior. It makes Tosh a really special companion for me. All right, yeah, I have to talk about the steamiest romances.
Okay.
All I can get, for me personally, I'll just speak for me personally, but at the
Veilguard.
culmination of the romance arcs, I'd have to say Tosh. When I got to that scene and saw the finished version of that cinematic, I was hollering. Hollering.
That's just funny. It's just funny.
This'll take more than you and me.
Hey, it's Hardy!
So Harding, as a companion,
I cannot wait to
I'd have
learn
to go
more
back
about
to
her
Inquisition.
story. Yeah.
Of course, Harding showed up. She was your scout on the field.
There you
was
go.
A light romance with her, and I think one of the things that the team didn't quite expect is how much Harding would catch on in Inquisition.
Yeah.
Players fell in love with her.
We did. I did.
You know, we heard them. They wanted a deeper romance. They wanted more engagement with Harding.
Same.
So
Yes.
for the team, I felt like it was kind of a no-brainer for us to bring back Harding. And we also wanted to reestablish that connection to the Inquisition in the world of Thedas, which occurred 10 years ago, the events of Inquisition. Harding serves as our proxy back to those events. You get to learn about what's happened with the Inquisition since. So she presents some really lovely opportunities for us. I will say, personality-wise and her role on the battlefield, she is among my favorites. When you see her leap into the air, unleashing these devastating attacks with her bow and arrow, I just can't get enough of her.
The veil is a wound inflicted upon this world.
I have things to say afterwards. Okay.
By drowning the world in demons?
Okay.
I have taken precautions to minimize the damage, Varric.
Minimize the...
This scene is so well done.
So, Rook's relationship with Solas is a complicated one.
Okay.
Everyone has seen at this point the gameplay reveal and the opening moments of the game, so you'll know things got shaken up pretty radically for Solas already.
Yeah.
He's trapped.
Yeah.
He's basically communicating with you as an advisor. And I absolutely love that idea of he's your lifeline right now, but can you trust him? And those touch points with him Do I take his advice or not? Can he be trusted? Is he going to betray me? All the while giving you this information that you absolutely need in order to be successful. It creates an interesting stage for us where I think our fans will agree Solas is very complicated. He firmly believes he's doing the right thing, and some of our fans will agree that he's trying to do the right thing. Others will not. And this creates a stage for you, the player, where you get to lean into those tendencies of your own as you're taking advice from Solas throughout parts of the game. I think those really interesting debates about, you know, was he ever redeemable? Can he be trusted? Was he wrong all along?
Oh my God,
you're really going to be able to dive in deep on that.
Like, that makes me so happy. Like, real talk. That makes me so happy. Oh. So this is gonna be.
Varric has changed since the events of Dragon Age Inquisition. He has spent the time between. He's briefly, obviously, Viscount of Kirkwall. I mean, anybody who knows much about Varric knows how well a job where he sits around and tells people what to do is going to sit with him.
True.
He has been participating in the hunt for Solas, and I think for Varric in particular, that's a very difficult thing for him to do because Solas is his friend. Solas is somebody that he grew close to over the events of Inquisition. They adventured together, they worked together, and now knowing what Solas, who Solas really is, that eats at Varric. Varric believes he can always make somebody do the right thing. Varric believes he is the most convincing, charismatic, because he cares about people, and he has this belief that as long as I get a chance to talk to Solas, I'm going to be able to turn. But as he's seeing what, you know, Solas's ritual is doing to the world around, as he, you know, experienced in the comics, Dragon Age: The Missing, that eats at him a little bit. That's challenging his worldview of him as always being the best judge of people, being able to see that somebody is able to be redeemed, and he's starting to question a little bit, am I right, or am I being a fool by believing in Solas?
Right.
Well, we're not in Minrathous anymore.
Ooh.
I know these trees.
Oh, it's a canary.
This is Arlethan Forest.
And there's your ritual. The power involved.
That hair.
I've never seen anything like
Oh,
it.
that's it? Okay. Hold on. Okay. Like... Oh. Okay, there's a lot to talk about. Okay, first and foremost, before we talk about the companion just a little bit, the fact that there was an elf in what I thought was like the interpass area, like the crossroads. So that's not the crossroads she's in. She's literally in, I guess, the Fade, or is it the Fade inside Solas's mind? Because again, spoilers if you haven't figured it out by now. At the very beginning of the game, when Rook interrupts the ritual, there's more going on in that 20-minute gameplay footage we saw. There's a lot that they cut out that we don't see, that somehow Rook's blood gets mixed up in all of this. And that is what connects them to Solas. So when you see Solas saying, you realize what you have done, all because of you interrupted my ritual. Now, when we saw the male Rook walking around, he was human. Everything was gray. So, of course, most of us thought, okay, yeah, for gray, it's going to be gray for Canary, it's going to be gray for human and dwarves. But for the elves, they're going to see everything in color, because if you play Trespasser and you go into the crossroads, the elves see everything super sharp in color, everything is vivid and bright, but for all the other races, they don't see it that way. So that leads me to believe you are in the mind space of Solas's prison, because she's not physically there from what I'm understanding, or they are not physically in the crossroads, in the Fade. It is their mind. So it's how their mind sees this dream landscape, if I said that wrong. So there's a lot to chew on. Now, again, I said I was going to do a more deep dive video. I'm actually going to hold off on that. I'm still going to do one, but it's going to be much later and much closer to when we get to Veilguard in October, which is literally next month. Now, the companions. All I gotta say is, when it comes to Tosh's character has been one of the biggest enigmas. You don't know much about them, but I like that Karen refers to them as a them, because I know the voice actor for Tosh is also non-binary. And I remember when they were showing the voice actors, the voice actor had said, you know, it's so cool to be non-binary and to role play or to voice act as a non-binary character. And that is really huge, because a lot of times that bit of, you know, I don't know, I wouldn't call it intersex, but gender identity, that's the proper word. The gender identity is not always represented in characters. And then when you read the book, To Winter Nights, and you read Luck in the Garden, the character who is the focal point of that story is a Lord of Fortune and also a Master of Disguise, and they go by they, them as well. So again, I find it very fascinating. I find it very interesting. And Tosh is one of those characters, like I said, I want to know more about them. And also Tosh is so beautiful. Like, you know, you see the images, you know, the up look, the down look, but when you really get to look at Tosh, Tosh is gorgeous. So, to Tosh. For Emmerich, because he's another character we don't know that much about, because he's a necromancer and his appreciation of death, and you know, for those of us who believe in that there is an afterlife, that there is a continuation on after this plane of existence, it's comforting in knowing that there is life after death. Maybe it may not be in the way we think or what we've interpreted, but there's something beautiful about it. And I'm excited to see his views on death. Now, to some people this may sound very weird, but death itself doesn't scare me. I'm pretty sure in the moments of knowing that I'm going to die, I may experience, of course, fear, because that's the end of my life, so I'm afraid. But the idea of death is just, for me, not scary. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense what I just said. So I'm really excited to see his story, and it gets me excited on a potential idea for a Rook I want to play around with. So yeah, I don't know. And then what she says about Harding, of course everybody loves Harding. Harding is our link outside of Varric and Solas, but Harding is our link back to Inquisition and our Inquisitor when she was our scout. And Ali Hillis is knocking it out of the park again with her performance. So again, super excited for her. When you think about Lucanus, now Lucanus is a character I know a lot of people like. He's probably their number one romance choice outside of Bone Daddy or Neb, and I like what she says about his character, that he is one of the characters that went through the most changes. He's one of the most complex character, and when Mary Kirby wrote him, she said she wrote him to be a bisexual disaster of the human being, and I like that. So I'm even more interested in Lucanus. I mean, he's already cool, that goes without saying, but as a story perspective, I want to know more about him. And I'm excited because, again, we don't get a lot on any of the companions, except for we got a lot more on Neb, we got a lot more on Balara, and of course we got more information on Davrin. But those other four that I mentioned, they don't get as much spotlight as I think they should, especially Harding, because Harding is, again, our link back to the Inquisitor. But understanding the major thing about Harding, it makes you say, okay, I understand why they're kind of keeping her. They dropped a little bit on us, but they're not going to give us the whole thing. And I don't want to really spoil it, but people should know by now that Harding is now channeling, or has now awakened something within Solas's ritual, awakened the latent magical abilities within her and within all dwarves. So again, I'm wondering if we're gonna get more of like a Volta kind of situation. Will she be able to not only channel the stone, but hear and sense the stone even more than someone like Varric or anyone else, who a dwarf that doesn't have magic? And you know, how is she gonna channel this? Is she gonna become more like Sandal, where she seems less coherent and seem more like she's talking abstract? Like, I'm so curious to what's gonna happen to her. Now, when it comes to the other three that I mentioned, Balara, Nev, and Davrin. Balara, there was a whole bit of information given on her, and I specifically stayed away from that article because I didn't want to know much. But her as a character, I think she's going to have one of the biggest storylines outside of Davrin, because this is connecting her right back to the ancient gods. You know, and ancient elven gods. And that scene where she was talking to, I want to say the name Jahal, I don't know. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm saying it wrong. But that character we see bound up in the, you know, organic matter of the blight, said the gods did this to us. You know, the gods did this. And she's like, the gods. And again, her character is so beautiful. Like, the way she looks, gorgeous. And she's who's becoming more interesting to me the more I see of her and the more I learn of her. I'm very curious to know more about her story as well. Now, of course, when it comes to Nev and Davrin, those two are my hands down absolute favorites. I love what they said about Nev. Like, she's fighting for a better Tevinter. I love her look. I love her character. There's nothing about Nev I can say I don't like. And I said it once and I'll say it again. I am fucking thrilled that she is not a blonde. I'm so happy that they chose to go in a different route with her. And she's just as sexy. She's just as beautiful. And she still has my full attention. You know? So I don't know. I'm still not fully sold. Even though I give a lot of attention to Davrin. But I'm still not fully sold if he's going to be the first person my Rook romances. You know, because there's just something about her, about Nev, that I personally just find super interesting and sexy and fun. And the fact that she's a detective is just, there's so much to love. It's like, what's not to love, you know, about Nev. Now, about Davrin, I mean, one, he seems so cool. And then to hear more of Ike's voice acting through him, it's just, again, Ike's voice skills, it's sexual, it's beautiful, his voice is like liquid honey, and I co-sign on everything he does, okay? I'm talking about the character Davrin, not the real man Ike Adamati, let's be clear on that. But Davrin as a character, I'm so, as a man of color, to have another man of color to romance, I don't know, there's just something about it. I'm so excited about it. We got a little bit of that with Will from Baldur's Gate, but you know, Will just don't get that much love, and hopefully that changes. But with Davrin, it feels different. I think we're gonna get a good chunk of Davrin because he's a part of the Grey Wardens, and the Grey Wardens' job is to handle the blight. So I'm excited to see how much story we get with him. You know, I really think that all of the companions are gonna live up to the way everything is looking. They're gonna live up to the expectations I think that they will have. You know, and if you look how Karen and John Epler talk about them, they can't help but smile or look excited, and their excitement makes me excited. And then the energy around the game just feels good. It feels right. You know? I don't know, guys. I just say it again. October 31st can't get here fast enough. So if you guys watched it, what was your interpretation of this game? Of what you're seeing about the companions? Does this draw you in more? Does it make you feel more, you know, or are you still kind of lukewarm about it? I just want to know. So sound off in the comment sections. And again, that Canary with that long hair, honey, she makes me want to whip my hair back and forth, like, you know, like Willow. You know, I just, them hair physics, BioWare, if any of y'all see this, them hair physics, honey, yes, that shit was real. It was good. It wasn't good, it was good. Okay, so again, guys, if you enjoyed this, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all know what to do in the comment section. And if you do, remember to live, think, and dream big. Choose love over fear, because Asan will love you if you do. And with all that said, bye.